everybody. Welcome to Maths and Science Intervention Club. My name is Mr. Nkuna. Today we're going to be doing everything we've learned this term in grade 10, but then we are going to start from algebraic expressions. Right. So we have an equation and an expression. An expression does not have an equal sign. So with algebraic expressions, we're just simplifying fully. So let us look at the first part. We have a monomial with a binomial. Monomial means we are having a single term which is then multiplied with a binomial, two terms over there. Right, so we have 5 open bracket 2 plus 3. We are going to solve this one in two different ways, and we are going to compare if our answers are the same. So the first method we are going to use BODMAS. Right, with BODMAS, I'm having 5 open bracket 2 plus 3. So inside the bracket, I am having 2 plus 3. Therefore, I'm going to have 5 open bracket. What is 2 plus 3? It is 5. And what is 5 times 5? I'm having a 25. That is what I'm going to have over there. But then let us use distributive law and let us see if we are going to have 25 as our answer, right? So with distributive law, I'm having 5 open bracket 2 plus 3. Distributive law says the number that is inside the bracket will be the number that is outside the bracket multiplies everything that is inside the bracket, meaning the 5 will multiply the 2, the very same 5 will multiply the 3. What is 5 times 2? I'm going to have a 10 plus, and what is 5 times 3? I'm going to have a 15, and what is 10 plus 15? I'm having a 25. So when I use BODMAS, I got 25. When I use distributive law, I still got 25. It means the answers are going to be the same regardless whether I use BODMAS or distributive law. Right, let us look at the first one. The first one, I'm having expand and simplify. I'm having 3x, open bracket, x plus 3. So with BODMAS, it says deal with whatever that is inside the bracket. Inside the bracket, I'm having x plus 3. I cannot use BODMAS. Why am I not supposed to use BODMAS? Because here I'm having unlike terms, so I cannot add x plus 3. Therefore, it means BODMAS cannot work here. But then what am I supposed to use? I'm going to use distributive law, because I've seen that if I use BODMAS or if I use distributive law, the answer will be the same regardless. So it means here, since BODMAS cannot work, since I'm having unlike terms inside the bracket, I'm left with one option, which is for me to use distributive law. Whatever that is outside will multiply everything that is inside, meaning the 3x will multiply the x, the very same 3x will multiply the 3. What is 3x times x? I'm going to have 3x squared. And what is 3x times 3? I'm going to have positive 9x. That becomes my answer. Right, let us look at the second one, letter B. BODMAS cannot work because I'm having unlike terms inside the bracket. But then what am I supposed to use? Distributive law. The 2x will multiply the 3x, and the very same 2x will multiply the negative 4y. 2x times 3x, I'm going to have 6x squared. What is 2x times negative 4y? I'll have negative 8xy. That becomes my answer. I have expanded and simplified. Right. Let us look at the second one. Now I am having a multiplication of binomials. 2 terms multiplying 2 terms. I'm going to use BODMAS, and I'm also going to use distributive law. And let us see if the answer will be the same. So with BODMAS, I'm having 3 plus 2, open bracket 6 plus 4. What is 3 plus 2? I'm going to have a 5, because I'm dealing with whatever that is inside the bracket. And what is 6 plus 4? I'm going to have a 10. And what is 5 times 10? I'm going to have a 50 as my answer. Now let us use distributive law. I'm having 3 plus 2, and I'm also having 6 plus 4. Distributive law, we are going to use the FOIL method. First with last, just like that, right? So it means the 3 will multiply the 6, the very same 3 will multiply the 4, right? And the 2 will multiply the 6, the very same 2 will multiply the 4. And let us see if we are going to receive a 50. 3 times 2, 3 times 6, I'm going to have 18 plus. 3 times 4, I'm going to have a 12 plus. 2 times 6, I'm going to have a 12 plus. Now here I'm going to have an 8. And what is, 3 times 2, 3 will multiply the 6, which is 18 plus. 3 will multiply the 4, which is a 12 plus. 2 will multiply the 6, which is a 12 plus. 2 will multiply the 4, which is an 8. What is 18 plus 12? That is going to become 30 plus what is 12 plus 8, that is going to become 20, and what is 30 plus 20, that is going to give us 50, right? I used BODMAS, I got 50. I used distributive law, I still got 50, meaning regardless the answer will still be the same, right? Let us look at this one, multiplication of binomials. Now, since I've seen that when I add this and add this, I got 50. When I use the FOL method, I got 50. Let us try and use BODMAS. Here, I cannot use BODMAS because inside the bracket, I'm having unlike terms. But then what am I supposed to use? Distributive law, first with first, first with last, meaning the x will multiply the x, the very same x will multiply the 2, and the 3 will multiply the x, the very same 3 will multiply the 2, because we saw that when I used BODMAS, I got 50, and when I used distributive law, I still got 50, meaning here, whatever that I'm doing here, it is not correct, and it's not incorrect though. Therefore, the x will multiply the x, which is going to give us x squared, plus the x will multiply the 2, giving us 2x, the 3 will multiply the x, giving us 3x, the 3 will multiply the 2, giving us positive 6. These two are like terms, therefore I can add them together. I'm going to have x squared plus 3x plus 2x is going to become 5x plus 6. That becomes my answer, plus 6. Right, let us look at the second one, letter B. I cannot use BODMAS because I'm having unlike terms inside the bracket. But then what am I supposed to use? Distributive law. The 3y will multiply the 2y, the very same 3y will multiply the 4. The negative 1 will multiply the 2y, the very same negative y will multiply the 4. So that is what is going to happen. I'm going to have 3y multiplied by 2y, which is going to give us 6y squared. 3y multiplied by 4, which is going to give us 12y. Negative 1 multiplied by 2y, which is going to give us negative 2y. Negative 1 multiplied by 4, giving us negative 4. These two are like terms because they have the same letter and the same power. It means I'm going to have 6y squared plus 10y, because 12 minus 2, it is going to become 10 minus 4. That becomes my answer. Right. Then after, I'm having letter C. With letter C, I'll still use the very same thing. 2x will multiply the x. The 2x will multiply the x. The very same 2x will multiply the 3y. The negative 4y will multiply the x. The very same negative 4y will multiply the negative 3y. Because we saw that when I used BODMAS here, and when I use distributive law, I still got the same answer. It means here I cannot use BODMAS because I'm having unlike terms. But then what am I supposed to use? Distributive law, or expand, or the FOL method. 2x will multiply the x, giving us 2x squared. The 2x will multiply the negative 3y, giving us negative 6xy. The negative 4y will multiply the positive x, which is going to give us negative 4. xy, the negative will multiply the negative 3, which is going to give us positive 12y squared. These middle terms are like terms because they have the same letter and the same power. It means I'm going to have 2x squared minus 10xy plus 12y squared. That is what I'm going to have, right? Let us look at letter D. With letter D, I will still use the FOL method. The 2ab will multiply the ab. The very same 2ab will multiply the negative 5. And the 3 will multiply the ab. The very same 3 will multiply the negative 5. So it means I am going to have 2ab multiplying the ab. It means I'm going to have 2a squared b squared. Why? Because we have the laws of exponents. If the bases are the same in multiplying, you add your powers. Therefore, I'm going to have negative 2ab multiplied by negative 5. It means I'm going to have negative 10ab, right? The 3 will multiply the ab. I'll have positive 3ab. The very same 3 will multiply the negative 5, which is going to give us negative 15. These two are like terms because they have the same letter and the same power. Therefore, I'm going to have 2a squared b squared minus what is negative 10ab plus 3ab, which is going to give us negative 7ab minus 15, right? Let us look at letter E. With letter E, I'm going to use the distributive law as well. But then remember, this is a monomial, multiplying a binomial, meaning the 2x will multiply the 3x, the very same 2x will multiply the negative 4y. But then remember here there's a coefficient of 1. It means the negative 1 will multiply the 7x squared, the negative 1 will multiply the negative 2xy. So it means I'm going to have, what is 2x multiplied by 3x? I'm going to have 6x squared, right? What is 2x multiplied by negative 4y? I'll have negative 8xy. What is negative 1 multiplied by positive 7x? I'll have negative 7x squared and positive 2xy. Therefore, I'm going to look if I have like terms. These two are like terms, the ones that are circled with blue color, those are like terms. Why are they like terms? Because they have the same variable, which is x, and the variable has the same power, which is x to the power of 2. Therefore, it means I am going to have 6x squared minus 7x squared. Now, the ones which are circled are having a letter red. Those are also like terms because they have the same variable, which is xy, and those variables are having the same power, which is x to the power of 1 and y to the power of 1. It means I'm going to have negative 8xy plus 2xy. I've grouped my like terms together. Therefore, it means I'm going to have, what is 6x squared minus 7x squared? I'll have negative x squared, which is negative 1x squared. What is negative 8xy plus 2xy? I'll have negative 6xy. That becomes my solution. Right, I'm done. We have squaring binomials. We are going to use distributive law, and we are also going to use BODMAS, and let us see if the answer will still be the same. So if I am having 3 plus 2 all squared, I'll use distributive BODMAS. BODMAS means deal with the bracket first. I'll have 3 plus 2, which is 5, and what is 5 squared? I'm going to have a 25. But then distributive law says if you're having 3 plus 2 all squared, this particular squared means open 2 brackets, then you substitute whatever that was in the first bracket. So it means I'm going to open 2 brackets because I'm having a square over here, put whatever that was in the first bracket on both these 2 brackets. Therefore, I'm going to have 3 plus x, 3 plus 2, 3 plus 2 and 3 plus 2. Let us use distributive law and let us see if we're going to receive our 25. The 3 will multiply the 3. The very same 3 will multiply the 2. The 2 will multiply the 3. The very same 2 will multiply the 2. And let us see if we're going to receive a 25. What is 3 times 3? I'll have a 9 plus. What is 3 times 2? I'll have a 6 plus. What is 2 times 3? I'm going to have a 6 plus. And what is 2 times 2? I'm going to have a 4. Right. And what is 9 plus 6? I'm going to have 15 plus 10, which is going to give us a 25. Therefore, it means squaring binomials. It means if you are having a square, it means open 2 brackets, then substitute whatever that is in the first bracket on those 2 brackets. Therefore, it means if I'm having 5y plus 1 all squared, it means I should open 2 brackets, substitute whatever that was in the first bracket on those 2 brackets. It means I'm going to have 5y, I'm going to have 5y plus 1, 5y plus 1, right? Then I'm going to use the distributive law because I cannot use BODMAS because I'm having unlike terms inside the bracket. The 5y will multiply the 5y, the very same 5y will multiply the 1. The 1 will multiply the 5y, the very same 1 will multiply the 1. Therefore, it means I'm going to have 5y times 5y, which is going to give us 25y squared. 5y times 1, which is going to give us 5y plus 5y plus 1. These two are like terms because they are having the same letter and those letters are having the same variable. Therefore, it means I'm going to have 25. I'm going to have 25y to the power of 2 plus 10y plus 1. That becomes my solution. Right, let us look at letter B. It's a squaring of binomials as well. It means I should open 2 brackets, then I substitute whatever that is in the first bracket on both those 2 brackets. It means I'm going to have x minus 3y. Even here I'll have x minus 3y. Use distributive law, FOIL method. X multiplies the x, the very same x will multiply the 3y. The negative 3y will multiply the x, the very same negative 3y will multiply the negative 3y. Therefore, it means I'm going to have x times x, giving us x squared. X times negative 3y, I'll have negative 3xy, negative 3xy plus, because negative times negative is positive, times 9y squared. These two are like terms, means I have to add the coefficient, meaning I'm going to have x squared minus 6xy plus 9y squared. That becomes my solution. Right, then we have a product of a trinomial with a binomial. Trinomial, meaning we are having 3 terms. Binomial, we are having 2 terms. Monomial, we are having 1 term. Let us see. We are going to use Bodmer's and distributive law. Bodmer's, let us start with Bodmer's. I'm having 3 plus, I'm having 2 plus 3 all squared. No. 2 plus 3, 2 plus 4 plus 5. Therefore, with Bodmer's, deal with whatever that is inside the bracket. I will have 2 plus 3, which is 5. And that side, I'm going to have 2 plus 4, which is going to give us a 6. 6 plus 5, which is going to give us 11. And what is 5 times 11? 55. So here we got 55. Let us use distributive law and let us see if I'm going to get the 55 as well. I'm having a 2 plus 3. That side, I'm having a 2 plus 4 plus 5. Multiplying a binomial with a trinomial, it means the 2 will multiply the 2, the very same 2 will multiply the 4, the very same 2 will multiply the 5. Whatever that is inside this bracket multiplies everything that is on the other bracket, meaning the 3 will multiply the 2, the very same 3 will multiply the 4, the very same 3 will multiply the 5. That is what it means. Now let us see if the answer will be a 55 as well, right? Therefore, I'm going to have 2 times 2, giving us a 4 plus, 2 times 4, giving us an 8 plus, 2 times 5, giving us a 10. I'm done multiplying with the 2. I'm done distributing the 2. Now let us distribute the 3. The 3 will multiply the 2, giving us the 6, right? And the 3 will multiply the 4, giving us a 12, plus the 3 will multiply the 5, giving us a what? A 15. Now let us use our calculator and let us see if we are going to receive that particular 55, right? Let us see if we're going to receive a 55, and what is going to become 4 plus 8, that is going to become 12, 12 plus 10, that is going to become a 24, no, 22, 22 plus 6, that is going to become 28, 28 plus 12, that is going to become 40, 40 plus 15, that is going to become a 55, right? So can you see that when you use Bodmer's, we got a 55, and when we use distributive law, we got a 55. Therefore, it means here, simplify and expand. I mean, expand and simplify. I cannot use this method, which is known as Bodmer's. Why am I not supposed to use? Because inside the bracket, I am having unlike terms. Those are unlike terms because I'm having different variables and different powers. But then what option am I supposed to use? Distributive law. Because we saw that distributive law gave us the same answer that Bodmer's would have given us. Therefore, it means if I multiply the 2x with the 2x, multiply the 2x with the 3y, multiply the 2x with the 7, and the 3 multiplies the 2x squared, the 3 multiplies the 3y, and the 3 multiplies the 7. The answer will be the same as if I would have used Bodmer's, right? Because we saw that the answers are the same here. Therefore, it means I have to distribute, right? It means the 2x will multiply the 2x squared, which is going to give us 4, x to the power of 3. The 2x will multiply the 3y, which is going to give us positive 6xy. The 2x will multiply the 7, which is going to give us positive 14x. I'm done distributing with the 2x. I'm done multiplying with the what? With the 2x. But then what is left for me to do now? It is to distribute with the what? With the 3. The 3 will multiply the 2x. The 3 will multiply the 2x. Therefore, if the 3 multiplies the 2x, it means this is what I'm going to have, right? So it means the 3 will multiply the 2x, which is going to give us positive 6x squared. The 3 will multiply the 3y, which is going to give us positive 9y. And the 3 will multiply the 7, which is going to give us what? Positive 21. Therefore, I'm going to look if I have like terms over there. Do I have like terms? There are C, x to the power of 3, xy. Do I have xy somewhere? Nope. Therefore, this becomes my final answer. Right, I have done what? I have distributed. Now, let us look at letter B. Letter B, the 3a will multiply the 2a squared. The 3a will multiply the negative 3ab. The 3a will multiply the 4b squared. Now I would have done distributing with the 3a. The negative 2b will multiply the a squared. The negative 2b will multiply this second term. And just like that, that is what is going to happen. Therefore, what is 3a multiplying? I'm going to have 3a multiplying 2a squared. It means I'm going to have 6a to the power of 3. The 3a will multiply the negative 3ab. Therefore, I'm going to have negative 9a squared b, because I'm having two a's which are multiplying each other. The 3a will multiply the 4b squared, means I'm going to have positive 12a b squared. I'm done distributing with the 3a. Now I'm multiplying with the negative 2b. The negative 2b will multiply the a squared, means I'm going to have negative 4a squared b. The negative 2b will multiply the negative 3ab. Therefore, it means I'm going to have positive 6ab squared. And the negative 2b will multiply the 4b squared, meaning I'm going to have negative 8b to the power of 3. Now I'm going to look for my like terms. I'm having a squared b here. I'm having a squared b here. I am having ab squared here. I am having ab squared here, meaning those two are like terms. Group your like terms together. It means I'm going to have 6a to the power of 3 minus 9a squared b, 9a squared b. Therefore, this 9a squared b, I'll group it with the 6ab squared. No, I'm going to group with the 4a squared b as well, because those two are like terms. They are having the same power and the same variables, right? Therefore, I'm going to group the positive 12a b squared with the 6a b squared. Therefore, this is the one that are having a blue marker. Therefore, I'm going to have minus 8b to the power of 3, right? Therefore, it means I'm going to have 6a to the power of 3. What is negative 9a squared b plus 4a squared b? I'm going to have negative 5a squared b. What is 12 plus 6? I'm going to have positive 18ab squared minus 8b to the power of 3. That is what I'm going to have, right? Let us look at the last one, distributive law again. The 3x will multiply the 9x squared. The 3x will multiply the negative 6x. Y, the 3x will multiply the term. Then after, the 2y multiplies this term. The 2y multiplies that term. The 2y multiplies that term, right? So this is what I'm going to have. Therefore, I'm going to have the 3x multiplying the 9x squared. I'm going to have 9, 18, 27, 27x to the power of 3. The 3x will multiply the negative 6xy. I'll have negative 18x squared y. The 3x will multiply the 4y squared. I'll have positive 12xy to the power of 2. I'm done distributing with the 3x. Now I am distributing with the 2y. I'll have positive. What is 2y multiplied by 9x squared? I'll have 9, 18. I'll have 18x squared y. The 2y will multiply the negative 6x. I'll have negative 12xy squared. And the 2y will multiply the 4y squared, which is going to give us positive 8y to the power of 3. That is what I'm going to have. These two, they are like terms, and these two, they are like terms, meaning I have to group my like terms together. Therefore, it means I'm going to have 27 x to the power of 3 minus 18 x squared y plus 18 x squared y. Those are having a blue marker. Then I'm going to have plus 12 xy squared minus 12 xy squared. Those are having a red marker. Plus 8 y to the power of 3. Therefore, it means my answer will become 27 x to the power of 3. What is negative 18x squared plus 18x squared? That will become a 0. What is 12xy squared minus 12xy squared? That is going to become a 0, meaning I'm going to left with 8y to the power of 3. That becomes my solution, right? Then after we have product, which leads to the difference of two squares. Difference of two squares, meaning we are having a bracket whereby we are having a positive sign, and we are also having a bracket whereby we're having a negative sign, and the terms are the same. So I'm having a 3, I'm having a 3, I'm having a 2, I'm having a 2. The difference, it is the sign. Therefore, it becomes difference of two squares, right? And also, I'm having an x, I'm having an x, I'm having a y, I'm having a y. The difference, it is a sign. Therefore, it becomes difference of two squares. Now let us use distributive law and see what is going to happen. 3 times 3 giving us a 9. 3 times 2 giving us a 6. Negative 2 times 3 giving us a negative 6. What is negative 2 times 4? Negative 2 times 2 giving us a negative 4. These two, they will cancel each other, meaning I'm going to have 9 minus 4. Difference of two squares. 9 can be written as a square, which is 3 to the power of 2. Negative 4 can be written as a square, which is 2 to the power of 2. That is what we are referring to as a difference of two squares, meaning it is squares that are subtracting each other. Right. Let us look at the second one. X times x is going to give us x squared. X times negative x will give us negative xy. Positive y times x will give us positive xy. Y times negative y will give us negative y squared. These two are like terms. Therefore, I have x squared minus y squared. So this is what it means. So in conclusion, it means if you're having a difference of two squares, it means the first term plus the last term, first term minus the last term. So it means the first term and the first term are the same. The last term and the last term are the same, but the difference, it is the sign. Therefore, it means that our answer, it is going to become the first term squared minus the last term squared. So it means if I'm having 3, which is the same, 2, which is the same, meaning my answer will become 3 squared minus 2 squared, which becomes 9 minus 4. So if I'm having x, y, it means my answer will become x squared minus y squared. First term squared minus last term squared. So it means if I can see that these two are the same, right? These two are the same and these two are the same, meaning my answer will become the first term squared will become 3x squared minus the last term squared, which is 2y squared, meaning I'm going to have 9x squared minus 4y squared. That is what it means. So the first term and the first term, they are the same. The last term and the last term are the same. Therefore, it means my answer will become the first term squared, which is a squared, minus the last term squared, which is 5b squared, meaning my answer will become a squared minus 25b squared. That is what it means. So let us look at the last one. The first term and the first term, they are the same. The last term and the last term are the same. Therefore, my answer will become the first term squared, which is going to become 4x to the power of 4 all squared minus the last term squared, which is 3y to the power of 3 all squared. Meaning I'm going to have, if you remember the laws of exponents, the power that is inside will multiply the power that is outside. Therefore, I'm going to have 4 to the power of 2, x to the power of 8 minus 3 to the power of 2, y to the power of 6. Meaning I'm going to have 4 to the power of 2, which is 16, x to the power of 8 minus 9, y to the power of 6. That becomes my answer. Right. Then after, we have what is known as factorization of algebraic expression. Factorization meaning you are given this part This part, this is what we're given. Can you take it back here? Right. So factorization, we are going to do the opposite of what we were doing here. We were simplifying, but then now factorize, meaning we should go back. We were simplifying. Can you see we took this thing to here, but then with factorize, we should take this particular 27x to the power of 3 plus 8y to the power of 3 back there. Can we do that? Factorize meaning take your answer, take it back here. Factorize mean take your answer, take it back here. Factorize mean take your answer, take it back here. Factorize mean take your answer, take it back here. That is what factorize means. Right. So with factorize, we have 5 different types of factorization. We have the factorization by taking out a highest common factor. So let's read the definition. Factorization is the process of writing a number as a product of its factors. So if I'm having the first part, it is for us to find the highest common factor. The second part, it is the difference of two squares. The third part is quadratic trinomial. The fourth part, it is grouping due to common factor. And the last one, it is the sum and difference of two cubes. Now let us see what it means. Right. So take out the highest common factor. Let us say we have 9, we have 15 plus 9. 15 and 9, I'm going to look for the highest common factor. What is the highest common factor of 15 and 9? It is going to become a 3. It means I'm going to write a 3. What should I multiply by a 3 such that I have a 15? It's going to become a 5 plus. What should I multiply by a 3 such that I have a 9? It's a 3. Therefore, this is what factorization means. Involve a bracket by taking out a highest common factor. So the first one, I'm having 15x squared plus 9x to the power 5. Is there a highest common factor between 15 and 9? Yes. What is that highest common factor? It is going to become a 3. Right. Is there a highest common factor between x squared and x to the power 5? Yes. And what is that common factor? It is going to become x to the power of 2. Right. What should I multiply? Because you remember distributive law. It means if we multiply, it should take us back here. What should I multiply by 3x squared such that I have 15x squared? The answer will become a 5, right? Because if I were to use distributive law, what is 3x squared times 5? I'll have 15x squared. What should I multiply by 3x squared such that I have 9x to the power 5? It is going to become positive 3x to the power of 3, because you remember exponents, x squared times x to the power of 3 will give us x to the power of 5. If I were to use distributive law and expand, it should take us back here. Right, so we are factorizing by taking out the highest common factor. So this is what we have. Now let us look at the second one. Is there a highest common factor between 15 and 3? Yes. What is going to become that value? It's going to become a 3. Is there a highest common factor between a to the power 4 and a? Yes, it is going to become a. B to the power of 6 and b? Yes, it is going to become a b. What should I multiply by 3ab such that I have 15a to the power of 4 and b to the power of 6? It is going to become 5. A to the power of 3 and b to the power of 5. Because if this were to distribute, 3 times 5, I'll have a 15. A times a to the power of 3, I'll have a to the power of 4. B times b to the power of 5, I'll have b to the power of 6. Therefore, what should I multiply by 3ab such that I have 3ab? It's going to become negative 1. Therefore, I would have factorized, because if I were to use distributive law, it should take us back where we come from. Right. Let us look at the third one. 6x to the power of 3 plus 12x. Is there a highest common factor that I can take between the numbers? Yes, it is going to become a 6. 6 is going to become a highest common factor in terms of numbers. Is there a highest common factor between x to the power of 3 and x? It is going to become x. Right, that is going to become our highest common factor. What should I multiply by 6x such that I have 6x to the power of 3? It is going to become x squared. Right. What should I multiply by 6x such that I have 12x? It is going to become positive 2. Positive 2. Because if I were to use distributive law, it should take us back to where we are coming from, because 6x times x to the power of 2 will give us 6x to the power of 3, and 6x times 2 will give us 12x. Let us look at letter D. Is there a highest common factor between 6x to the power of 3 and 4x? Yes, it is going to become a 2. Is there a highest common factor between x to the power of 3 and x? I'm going to have x. Therefore, here I'm going to have 3x squared plus 2 because if I were to distribute, it should take us back from where we are coming from, right? Which is going to give us 6x to the power of 3 times 4x. Let us look at E. With E, I'm going to take the highest common factor. Having 3, 9, and a 12. The highest common factor will become a 3. Between my variables, I'm having x, I'm having y, I'm having xy. Therefore, there's no highest common factor there. Therefore, it means I'm going to have x squared minus, I'm going to have 3y, going to have 3y plus 4xy. That is going to become our solution, right? Therefore, we have what is known as a sign change rule. Sign change rule. So with the sign change rule, this particular 3, it is positive. We all agree that particular 3, it is positive. But if I'm having a sign change rule, I know that here I'm having a positive, right? But then a positive, it is the same as a negative and a negative. Therefore, it means this particular positive will become negative and this particular negative will become positive, right? That is what sign change rule refers to. Therefore, it means I'll open a bracket here. I'll have negative 3b plus 2a. Is this thing correct? Yes, it is. Because if there was a coefficient of 1, negative 1 multiplied by 3ab, it is going to give us positive 3b, and negative 1 multiplies by 2a will give us negative 2a. That is what a sign change rule refers to. Therefore, it means here I'm going to have a negative. Therefore, it means I'm going to have 4y minus 7x, right? Whatever that was positive becomes negative, and whatever that was negative becomes positive. But then there's a bracket involved, right? Therefore, here I'm having negative 5b. I'll have positive, right? Or therefore I can say negative. Therefore, I'll have 5b plus 2. That is what a sign change rule. Because if we were to use distributive law, there's a coefficient of 1 there, will give us negative 5b. Will give us negative 2, right? So factorization using the difference of two squares. If you still remember the difference of two squares, we said if the first one and the first one are the same, the last one and the last one are the same, and the signs are opposite, therefore your answer becomes first one squared minus last one squared. So since I can see that here I'm having x squared, which is a squared, 25, which is a squared, and I'm having a minus here, right? Therefore, it means my answer will become 2 brackets, x minus 5, x plus 5. That is what it's going to become. I'm having a 64, open 2 brackets. 64 is a squared, which is the same as 8 to the power of 2. I'm going to have 8 here, x to the power of 2, x to the power of 2, which is going to give us x to the power of 4. I'll have a minus, I'll have a plus, I'll have a 7, I'll have a 7, I'll have a y, I'll have a y. That is what is going to happen, right? The second one, 2 brackets. I'm going to have an x, a minus, a plus. Therefore, I'm going to have a 4, right? 2 brackets as well. I'm going to have a 10, an x to the power of 4, to the power of 4, a minus, a plus, a y, a 3. That is what I'm going to have, right? Then we're factorizing using quadratic trinomial. This is where we are. Quadratic trinomial refers to you are going to look at the middle number and the last number. You are going to look for two numbers such that when you multiply them, they will give us negative 36. But then when we add them, they will give us positive 5. What are those two numbers? When you multiply them, they'll give us negative 36. And when we add them, they'll give us positive 5. Looking at the factors of negative 36 times positive 1. I'll have a negative 1 times 36. This will give us a 36, but then if you put a plus, they won't give us a positive 5. 6 times 6 is a 36. Negative 6 times 6 will give us a 36. That is not going to work. 12 times 3 will give us a what? A 36. Yes, we agree. Negative 12 times 3, negative 36. 12 times negative 3, negative 36. But then what are those numbers going to become? Let us see. 8 times what? What is going to become 8 times 8, 16, 24, 30, 36. Can an 8 go into 36? Let us check this side. Going to look for a calculator. Right. I'm having a 36 this side. 36 divided by 8. 8 doesn't go there. Divide by 5. 5 doesn't go with it, goes without divide by 4. I have a 9. So it means there's a relationship between a 4 and a 9. Can you see? 4 and a 9. Therefore, it means positive 9 times negative 4 will give us negative 36. Let us see. 9 times negative 4 will give us a negative 36. Remove that particular times, and what should we put? Put a plus, and what do we get? We get a 5. So it means my factors, it is a 9 and a what? And a 5. It means I am going to rewrite the middle number in terms of what I've done over there, right? It means I'm going to have x squared plus 9x minus 4x minus 36. What is this? This is going to give us positive 5x. Did I change anything? No, I did not change anything. Take out the common factor between the first two terms and the last two terms. If you take out the common factor between the first two terms and the last two terms, it means you are going to have x, right? And we are going to have x plus 9. Focus on the last two terms. What is the common factor? Negative 4. Therefore, we're going to have x plus 9, right? There's a common factor between these two. Take out that common factor. It means I'm going to have x plus 9. And what is going to be left? X minus 4. Therefore, this becomes our solution, right? Let us look at the second one. Two numbers, when you multiply, they give you negative 6. But then when you add, they give you positive 5. It means I can simply just open those two brackets. X minus 1. X plus 6. That is what I'm going to have, because negative 1 times 6 will give us negative 6. 6 minus 1 will give us positive 5. Right, that is the shortest way to do it. Two numbers here, I can take out the common factor, which is going to give us a 3. Take out a 3 as a common factor, you'll have a squared minus, what is 21 divided by 3 will give us 21 divided by 3 will give us a 7, negative 7a minus 24 divided by 3 will give us an 8. Two numbers, when you multiply, they give you negative 8, but then when you add, they give you positive 7. It means I'll have a 3. Open those two brackets. A minus 8, a plus 1. That is what I'm going to have. I'm done factorizing. Open two brackets as well. Two numbers, when you multiply, they give you 28, but then when you add, they give you negative 14 times 2, that is 28, and 14 minus 2, that is a 12. Okay, 28 divided by 4, we're having a 7. Means it's between a 4 and a 7, right? Therefore, it means negative 4 times negative 7, that is going to give us a positive 28. But then if you remove that times and you put a plus, you're going to have a negative 11. Negative 4 minus 7, that is a negative 11. And negative 4 times negative 7, that is a 28. Therefore, it means I'm going to have x minus 4, x minus 7. That becomes my answer. Right. So this is what I'm going to have. Factorizing more advanced trinomial. Can you see a difference between this one? Here we were having a coefficient of 1, a coefficient of 1, a coefficient of 1, a coefficient of 1. But then now we are having a coefficient of x squared which is not a 1. So it means a more advanced quadratic trinomial. What are we going to do? We are going to multiply by a 21 and we divide by a 21. What is 21 over 21? Is going to be a 1. So it means basically we multiplied by a 1. Therefore we changed nothing. So it means I'm going to multiply by the value of my x squared, which is a 21. Therefore what is going to become 21 times 4? Right. So it means I'm going to have 21 times 4, which is 84. So it means I'm going to have x squared plus 25x minus 80 minus 84. Two numbers, when you multiply, they give you negative 84, but then when you add them, they give you positive 25. Let us see. 42 times 2, that is 84. Okay. 84 divided by 12, that is a 7. 84 divided by 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 4. Can you see? It's a 4. A 4 and a 21. Can you see? It's a 4 and a 21. Therefore, it means I'm going to have x minus 4 a 4 and a 21. A 4 and a 21. A 4 and a 21. Were we supposed to have a negative 4? I think it was supposed to be positive here. Yes, it was supposed to be positive. And I'm going to have x minus 21. This is what I'm going to have. Yes. Right. So it means, since, do you remember I multiplied by a 21? Do you remember I multiplied by 21? At this point, you're going to divide by 21. You're going to divide by 21. Because you multiplied by 21, now you should divide by 21. Therefore, it means I'm going to have 21 divided by 4. No. 21 divided by 21 means on this bracket, I'll have x minus 1. On the other bracket, what am I going to have? I'm going to have x. And what is 4 divided by 21? It is 4 over 21. Therefore, it means the 21 will multiply the x. Therefore, I'll have 21x minus 4. That becomes my answer. 21x minus 4, open bracket, x minus 1. Therefore, if you were to use distributive law, this is what I was going to have. The 21 was going to multiply the x. The very same 21 was going to multiply the negative 1. The negative 4 was going to multiply the x. The negative 1 was going to multiply the negative 1, which was going to take us back here. Right. Look at the second one. The 12 will multiply the x, which is going to give us a 24. But then remember, you're going to divide by x again. I'll have x squared minus 11x plus 24. Two numbers, when you multiply, they give you 24. But then when you add them, they give you negative 11. Therefore, I'm going to have 24 divide by 2. It's a 12 divided by 3. Can you see? It's a 3 and an 8. Therefore, it means I'm going to, because negative 3 minus 8 will give us negative 11. Negative 3 times negative 8 will give us what? A 24. Therefore, it means those are my two terms, x minus 3, x minus 3, x minus 8. But then remember, we multiply by 12, therefore we should divide by 12 again. Divide by 12, divide by 12. Therefore, it means I'm going to have 3 divided by 12, which is 1 over 4. Therefore, I'm going to have x minus 1 over 4. And that side, I'm going to have 8 divided by 12, which is 2 over 3. Going to x minus 2 over 3. The x will multiply, the 4 will multiply the x, the 4 will multiply the 3 will multiply the x. Therefore, it means I'm going to have 4x minus 1. I'm going to have 3x minus 2. That becomes my answer. Right. Let us look at letter C. There's a 1 here. It means I'm going to multiply by a 1. Therefore, it means I'm going to have x squared minus 10xy minus 24y squared. Two numbers, when you multiply, they give you negative 24. But then when you add them, they give you positive negative 10. It's a negative 12 and positive 2. Therefore, it means I'm going to have x minus 2y, x plus here, and here is going to be minus 12y. Because negative 12 plus 2 will give us a negative 10. Negative 12 times 2 will give us a negative 24. But then remember, we multiply by 24. Therefore, it means we should divide by 24 again here. I'm going to divide by a 24. Divide by 24. Therefore, it means I'm going to have x plus 1 over 12y, and I'm going to have x minus 1 over 2y. That is what I'm going to have. The 12 multiply the 2. The 12 multiply the x. The 2 will multiply the x. Therefore, it means I'm going to have 12x plus 1. And I'm going to have 2x minus 1. There's going to be a 1. This is what I'm going to have. Therefore, that becomes my solution. Let us look at the last one. The 16 multiply the 1 means I'm going to have x squared minus 8x plus 16. Two numbers, when you multiply, they give you 16. When you add them, they give you negative 8. I'm going to have x minus 4. Right. But then remember, we multiplied by 16. Therefore, we should divide by 16, divide by 16, divide by 16. Therefore, I'm going to have 4 divided by 16, which is 1 over 4. Therefore, I have x minus 1 over 4. I'm going to have x minus 1 over 4. The 4 will multiply the x. The 4 will multiply the x. Therefore, I'm going to have 4x minus 1. 4x minus 1. That becomes my solution. Right. Let us look at the last one. The 15 will multiply the x. Right. Therefore, it's 15 times 6. I'm going to have x squared minus 19x plus 15 times 6, which is going to give us a 90. Two numbers, when you multiply, they give you 90. When you add them, they give you 19. Let us see. 15 times 4 and 15. Let me put a plus here. 15 plus 4. It's a 19. Therefore, it means I'm going to have x minus 4, x minus 15. But then remember, we multiplied by 15. Now we should divide by 15, which is the same as multiplying with the 1. Right. Therefore, it means I'll divide by 15, divide by 15. Therefore, I'm going to have x, and what is 15 divided by 4 divided by 15, which is 4 over 15. I'm going to have negative 4 over 15 here. And what is 15 divided by 15 is going to become x minus 1. Right. Therefore, the 15 multiply the x means I'm going to have 15x minus 4. And I'm going to 15x minus 4, and I'm going to have x minus 1. That becomes our answer. Then we have factorization by grouping. Factorization by grouping, meaning you focus on the first two terms and the last two terms, or sometimes you have to group your terms together such that you take out the common factor between them. So if I factorize by grouping, let us look at our first two terms. These two terms and the last two terms. Is there something that is common between the first two terms? Yes. What is it? It's going to become a. If I take out a, what should I multiply by a such that I have ax? It is going to become x. What should multiply by a such that I have 3a is going to become positive 3. Let us look at the last two terms. Is there something that is common? Yes, which is going to become a 2. What is going to become the common? What should I multiply by 2 such that I have 2x? It is going to become x. What should I multiply by 2 such that I have a 6? It is going to become a 3. There's a common factor which is x plus 3. Take out that common factor, x plus 3, and I'm going to be left with a plus 2. That becomes my answer. Right, focus on the first two, focus on the last two. Therefore, if I focus on the first two terms and focus on the last two terms, that is what's going to happen. Is there a common factor between the first two terms? Yes, it is going to become 2. I'm going to have 2x. If I take out 2x, what should I multiply by 2x such that I have 2x squared? It is going to become x. What should I multiply by 2x such that I have 4xy? It is going to become 2y minus 3. Therefore, 3y, if I take out, what should I multiply by negative 3y such that I have a negative 3xy? It is going to become x. What should I multiply by negative 3y such that I have negative 6xy? It's going to become positive 2y. There's a common factor between those two, which is x plus y. X plus 2y, meaning I will have to take out that particular x plus 2y such that I'll be left with 2x minus 3y. That is what I'll be left with. Right, factorizing cubes, sum and difference of cubes. So if I'm having sum and difference of cubes, this is what is going to happen. You open a small bracket, then you open a bigger bracket, right? On the small bracket, you write the cube root of an individual term. What is the cube root of x to the power of 3? You write it here. What is the cube root of x to the power of 8, negative 8? You write it over there. So what is going to become the cube root of x to the power of 3? The cube root of x to the power of 3, its cube root is going to become x. Meaning here I'm going to write x minus, what is the cube root of 8? I'm going to have negative 2. You see? Therefore here, if you still remember distributive law, what should I multiply by x such that I have x to the power of 3? It is going to become x squared, right? What should I multiply by negative 2 such that I have? What should I multiply by negative 2 such that I'm going to have a negative 8? It is going to become a positive 4, right? In the middle, you write the product of the first bracket with an opposite sign. Therefore, it means x times 2, it is going to become, you are going to write 2x with an opposite sign. Here we're having a minus, therefore they are going to write a plus. That is what we are going to have, right? Therefore that becomes our answer. Unless if you want to simplify it further here, but then otherwise, even if you leave it like that, it's still the same. Let us look at the second one, letter B, small bracket. You write the small bracket, then after you write the bigger bracket. Small bracket, you write the cube root of 8. What is going to become the cube root of 8? It's going to become a 2. And what is going to become the cube root of negative 27? It is going to become a negative 3. What is the cube root of b? Is going to become b to the power of 3 is going to become b. That is what you write on the small bracket. On the bigger bracket, distributive law is going to help you. What should I multiply by 2 such that I have 8? Is going to become a 4. Right? What should I multiply by a negative 3b such that I have a 27b to the power of 3? Is going to become a 9. I'm going to have a 9b to the power of 2. Here on the middle, you write it's going to become positive. You write the product of the first bracket, meaning the 2 will multiply the 3b, which is going to give us, and the negative sign, opposite sign. Since we're having a minus here, you are going to write a plus 6b. 6b becomes our answer. Right, let us look at the third one, small bracket and a bigger bracket. The cube root of 64, is going to become a 4. The cube root of x to the power of 3 is going to become an x, therefore minus x here. Therefore here I'll have a 16 because 16 times 4 will give us a 64. Here I'll have a positive x squared, right? Positive x squared. And here you write the product of the first bracket with an opposite sign. I'm going to have a plus 4 times x. I'm going to have what? A 4x, right? Let us look at the last letter B, letter D, small bracket, bigger bracket, right? Product, the cube root of 125, it is going to become a 5. The cube root of x to the power of 3 is going to become x. The cube root of 8 is going to become positive 2. What should I multiply by 5 such that I have 125? It is going to become a 25x squared. What should I multiply by 2 such that I have an 8? It's going to become a 4. Then here you write the product of the first bracket with an opposite sign. So since I'm having a plus, you're going to write a minus. 5x times 2, going to have what? Going to have 10x. Then here I'm going to have a plus, right? Let us look at the letter E. I'm having a small bracket and a bigger bracket. But then the cube root of a 5 is going to give us something which is a fraction. It means before I can open a small bracket and a bigger bracket, I have to take out the common factor. Take out the common factor, which is going to be a 5. You're going to have x to the power of 3 plus what is 40 divided by 5? I'm going to have an what? I'm going to have an 8. Right. So now since I'm having the cubes inside the bracket, I'll have a 5, small bracket, and a bigger bracket. Small bracket, I'll have x because the cube root of x to the power of 3 is x. The cube root of 8 is a 2. I'll have x squared plus 4. And here I'm going to have negative 2x. The product of the first bracket with an opposite sign. Then now letter F, small bracket and a bigger bracket. What is the cube root of x to the power of 3? It's going to become x. What is the cube root of 64? It's going to become a 4. What is the cube root of 1? It's going to become a 1. What is the cube root of 8? It's going to become a 2. What should I multiply by x so that I have x to the power of 3? It's going to become x squared. What should I multiply by 4 so that I have a 64? It's going to have a 16. What should I multiply by 1 over 2 such that I have 1 over 8? It's going to become 1 over 4. Here you write the opposite sign, which is going to become a plus. What is x times 1? I'm going to have an x. What is x 2 times 4? 2 times 4, I'm going to have an 8. Then here I'm going to have a plus. That becomes my answer. Right, simplify the following algebraic fractions. So this is what we have. We are required to simplify the following algebraic fractions. Now, if I'm having 4 plus 4 divided by 4, another person can say this 4 will cancel that 4, therefore our answer becomes a 4. But then let us see if that is the correct way. What is 4 plus 4? Let us go and use our calculator. Right, and let us see what value do we have. So if I'm having 4 plus 4 divide by 4. Can you say that our answer is a 2? This 4 does not cancel that 4 such that we are left with a 4. But then our answer it is a 2. How did they find that 2? They said 4 plus 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 4 plus 4 is going to become 8. Right? And what is 8 divided by 4? It's going to become a 2. But then can we find that 2 without using the 8? Yes, we can. We can factorize. I'm going to factorize my numerator such that what the highest common factor will become a 4. What should I multiply by 4 such that I have a 4? It's a 1. What should I multiply by 4 such that I have a 4? It's a 1. Open bracket, divide by 4. Can you see now? Since there's multiplication involved, it means now this 4 and that 4 can cancel, and I'll be left with 1 plus 1, which is going to give us a 2. You only cancel your 4s if there's a multiplication involved between your terms. But then since there's addition involved here, I cannot cancel this 4 and that 4. Therefore, it means, let us look at the second one. I am having 6 plus 12 divided by 6. The answer is a 3. This and this, they didn't cancel to be left with a 6, to be left with a 12. But then what happened? We are going to involve a multiplication sign. Therefore, it means I'll have 6 plus 12, which is going to become 18. 18 divided by 6, which is going to give us a 3. Can we find that 3 without using the first method? Yes, we can. We can say the highest common factor, factorize my numerator. I'll have a 6 if I factorize my numerator, right? What should I multiply by 6 such that I have a 6? It's a 1. What should I multiply by 6 such that I have a 12? It's a 2. And below, I'm going to have a 6. Now, since there's multiplication involved, the 6 and the 6, it is going to cancel each other. And what is going to be left? 1 plus 2. And what is 1 plus 2? Is going to give us a 3. Right. Therefore, it means this x and this particular 4x and that particular 4x, they are not going to cancel, but rather what is going to happen? You are going to take out the common factor such that you have multiplication involved. So it means if you take out common factor, which is 4x, if you take out your highest common factor, which is going to become 4x, what should you multiply by 4x such that you have 4x squared? Is going to be 4x, is going to become x. What should you multiply by 4x such that you have 4x? Is going to become a 1 divided by 4x. There's multiplication involved, meaning this and this will cancel. Therefore, my answer becomes x plus 1. You only cancel your numerator and your denominator if there's a multiplication involved. That is what we are going to do. Therefore, this 3 and that 3, they are not going to cancel because we have a subtraction involved. But then how can you introduce a multiplication? By factorizing. Take out the common factor, which is a 3. I'll have x minus 1 and I'll have a 3. 3 and 3 cancel. Therefore, I'm going to have x minus 1, which is going to become my answer. Let us look at the second one. Take out the common factor. These two, they are not going to cancel because there's addition involved. But then how can you involve multiplication? Take out the common factor, which is going to become 3a. Therefore, I'm going to have a plus 2 divided by 3a times 2. Do you agree that 3a times 2 will give us a 6a? The 3a and the 3a, we are going to cancel each other, meaning my answer will become a plus a. My answer will become a plus 2 divided by 2. That becomes my answer. Let us look at this letter F. Letter F, we are going to factorize first. Therefore, I'm going to open two brackets. It's factorization by our trinomial here. X, what should I multiply? Which two numbers that such that when I multiply, they give us 27. But then when we add them, they give us a what? A 12. What are those two numbers? Let us go below. Factorize our denominator. I'll have a 4. I'll have x squared minus 3. That is what I'm going to have. X squared minus 3, right? So what is going to happen with my denominator there? Two numbers, when we multiply, they give us 27. When we add them, they give us, therefore it means they should be of the same sign. Let us see. 27 divided by 3. It's a 9. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 plus 3, it's a 12. So it means I'm going to have a minus 3. A minus 3 here. A minus 9 over there. This was supposed to become 4x, not 4x squared. It was supposed to become 4x, not 4x squared. Such that this and this will cancel. Therefore, my answer becomes x minus 9 divided by 4. That becomes my answer, x minus 9 divided by 4. Right, let us look at letter G. What is going to happen with letter G? Take out the common factor between my denominator. I'll take out 2. If I take out 2, I'm going to have 5 minus x. 5 minus x. And below, I'm having x minus 5. You remember sign change method? You remember that sign change method? Yes. Therefore, it means I'm going to have my answer as 2x 5 minus x. Therefore, it means I'll have a negative open bracket. If I have a negative, I'm going to have a 5, which is going to be positive now, and the x, which is going to become negative now. Because if we were to use distributive law, the negative 5 will multiply the 5, giving us negative 5. There's a negative 1 here, multiply the x, giving us, so this and this, my denominator and my numerator now can cancel. Therefore, my answer becomes negative 2. Negative 2 becomes my solution. Right, let us look at the last example. I'm going to factorize. I'm going to have x plus 1. Below, I'm going to have x squared, right? Times, numerator becomes your denominator and denominator becomes your numerator if you're having division. Therefore, I'm going to have x to the power of 3. Below, two numbers, when I multiply, they give us negative 1. When we add, they give us negative 2. X plus 1. X plus 1, right? X plus 1 will cancel. And I'm having x to the power of 2. I'm having x to the power of 3 there, meaning it's the same as x to the power of 2 times x, such that those two will cancel each other, meaning my answer would be this x will be consisting of this x and this particular x and this particular x plus 1. Therefore, my answer is going to become x squared divided by x plus 1. That becomes my solution. Right. I think we have reached the final part of our revision exercise. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Stay tuned. Stay tuned, boys and girls. Thank you so much.